Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This one's gonna be on Nioh, no. Anyway, I wanted to cover what weapon I think is best out of the ones you get in the beginning. And to be honest, I started off with sword and the sickle with the ball and chain on it. I thought that would be the best one to go for. But so far what I've been noticing is that the spear is actually doing a lot better than I would have thought. I have been noticing that I've just done better with it. It does more damage, you can keep range on people, and I mean the sword does have the effect of, if you're dodging constantly, that you can do a lot more and a lot better to enemies faster. It doesn't stun them as well, so I have been leveling that one a lot more. As far as the other weapons, from what I've noticed, I haven't tried the dual blades too much, but I feel like they might be a little bit better than the actual sword, just because, you know, double the damage. And my recommendation, if I had one, I would suggest starting off with the spear, just because in the beginning it seems like this is the best one to go for. Keeping range is almost key in the beginning, especially against bosses. It honestly did a lot more for me on the second boss than the sword did. I was able to keep distance, I was able to stun a little bit better. Preferably sword styles are the same, but on this one, what I've noticed so far is the mid stance is the best. High stance kind of leaves you very open, and low stance makes it so you just don't hit that hard, and it almost seems pointless, especially with the range that you get already on the spear. So if you're gonna start using the spear, I suggest just sticking with the mid stance, make it simple. You can always go high stance if you just want to finish them off quickly, but the combos just aren't as good. So obviously you want to stick with combos, because that's how you kill things faster, just because you can wear down their stamina a lot better than you can with the high stance. Bosses, same way. If you're not fast enough with your hitting to get out of the way when they attack back, then it's almost pointless. From what I've noticed in this game so far too, is the elements around you can affect your weapons a little bit, but not only that, your yokai, or I forget what they call it, yokai form, living weapon form, not sure. But this does very well against bosses. It's the only way I've been able to kill a large amount of bosses so far. That includes all of them, basically. Tips for this game: really distance and dodging so far, at least in the beginning. The building is very similar to Dark Souls, and as you notice, as soon as you wear down someone's stamina, the game's over for them, especially for you. So when you summon these revenants, they tend to wear down your stamina a lot quicker than you'd anticipate. So it's always good to just be aware of your stamina, always be keeping up with that R1. It's really hard to do it sometimes, but if you can keep up with it, the game changes. Just because if you don't get caught off guard, if you don't get your stamina worn down, they can't use their attacks. Just kill you almost instantly, especially in a boss fight. Alright. I guess the good news about me leveling up the sword, you don't have to worry too much, because the sword skill also affects the bow and arrow skill. So if you accidentally mess up like I did and you think, oh, sword's gonna be my best thing, wind up being spear, dual swords, whatever you like. Don't worry, you still have the you can still use your bow at best, you know. From what I've noticed, body also levels up life more than other things, so does stamina, but stamina more affects cannons and everything, so if you have to level up anything, I suggest body, unless you're trying to go for ranged. Ninjutsu in itself, so far, is kind of pointless. I mean, the good thing about it is you can use the paralysis things for bigger monsters and kind of gives you an edge. But I don't suggest the bombs right off the bat, just because if you're going to use them on single enemies like big bosses, it's good to have throwing weapons because you can paralyze yourself with the clouds as well. So, basically, my recommendation for this, axes leave you open, so I would suggest if you're going to use them, if you start off with them, you might have a hard time unless you have a faster short weapon. Spears are very good to start out with. They give you the distance, obviously the triangle attack, or whatever console you're using, the heavy attack on it has a good distance move for the mid section at least. And sword is good, kind of. It doesn't wear down their stamina as fast unless you pair it off. It does have a really good push move, which honestly has helped me in those maps with the cliffs and everything. And another thing is to keep your spirit leveled, because when you summon that spirit, it's a lifesaver in boss fights and everything else. As I was saying, the sword move is more for combos, but you can do push moves, which affects large groups, and it also affects stamina. So when you're using that as a pair, you can take down a person's stamina really fast with, or multiple people's stamina with it pretty easily. You also have to realize that avoiding fights is a good thing in this game. You can easily get overwhelmed, especially by bigger enemies. And I suppose that's about it for my recommendations. Wrap it up. Spears are good. Swords are okay. Elemental is a thing. Sometimes. But yeah, just keep your wits about you in this game. It's very fast paced. Boss fights can be very stressful, just like in Dark Souls, so honestly it feels a lot like a Dark Souls game. Just a lot faster, which is surprising. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll keep posting videos, gameplay, boss fights, whatever. And I'll talk to y'all later.